What is up, football world? My name is Dave LaFave, and you are watching Primetime Carolina. Before we get into this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, a big thank you to those of you who are already done so. On Monday, wide receiver Robbie Anderson was traded to the Arizona Cardinals from the Carolina Panthers. Robbie Anderson on Sunday got into a face-to-face shouting match with wide receiver coach Joe Daly. The two were separated, and about a quarter later, Robbie Anderson had some more things to say to him, and finally, interim head coach Steve Wilks sent him off the field, and that was that for Robbie Anderson as a Carolina Panther. He was traded by lunchtime the next day. The Panthers sent him away for a couple of draft picks, 2025 sixth round, 2024 sixth round, 2025 seventh round. So a little bit of compensation there. Obviously, Robbie Anderson was not happy. The Panthers had just fired the coach who brought him in, the coach who helped get him a big contract, the coach who put him in the starting lineup, the coach who believed in him since his college days. So with Matt Rule getting fired last week, it didn't make sense to keep putting one of Rule's best, players, or one of Rule's favorite players, I should say, out on the field in the same role as before. Honestly, it just didn't make sense for either party to keep doing this. Robbie Anderson, obviously, very disgruntled with the team. The Panthers have a lot of young players that they want to get on the field. Terrace Marshall, Shi Smith, to name a few. These guys need reps. We need to see what we have in these guys, to know what their role could be in the future. So Robbie Anderson gets to move on and go to another situation. No hard feelings, man. Good luck to him. Obviously, you would like to see him keep his composure a little better than he did, but it is what it is. I'm not going to hold it against him. He's frustrated. It's been a tough season for all of us. It's been a tough season for wide receivers in that offense, so I don't blame him. But this move does bring up the question, are the Carolina Panthers looking to move anybody else? This season's looking like it's going to be a lost one, obviously. Team is 1-5. On Sunday, they were down to their fifth string quarterback in Jacob Eason, a guy who wasn't even on the roster in the preseason. So a lot of big news outlets have been talking about the idea of the Panthers trading somebody, specifically Christian McCaffrey. We'll get into here first. This article stating that the Panthers would trade McCaffrey for the right price, but no deal is imminent. And that's about what we're hearing from team beat writers as well. They would trade McCaffrey, but they're not looking to. As a fan, you would hate to see McCaffrey go. But if the team was able to get a first-round pick, maybe a little more, it makes sense to move on from McCaffrey. He's a great player, obviously. Like I just said, I would hate to see him go. He is the ultimate weapon. We all love him, but you're looking at a team that's probably about to do somewhat of a rebuild. I'm not going to call it a total rebuild because I think there's enough talent on this roster that the team could be competitive as soon as next season. But if you're talking about their chances to make the playoffs, yeah, that's probably about 3 years away if everything goes the way it's supposed to. 3 years from now, we don't even know if Christian McCaffrey is going to be able to keep playing football. The way his career has gone as far as injuries, the short lifespan of running backs in this league, we don't know that he'll even be available to the team 3 years from now. So if you can get something for him now, it kind of just makes sense to do it. Even though he is a fan favorite, we all love the guy. He's an incredible player. We don't know that he'll be able to contribute when this team is competing for, say, the division or, the playoffs, a wild card spot, whatever they're able to compete for in a couple of years. So it just makes sense to move him if you get a good enough offer. If a team is going to offer you, well, let me backtrack. From what I hear, the team is asking for multiple first-round picks. That's something I don't think they'll be able to get. They may be able to get a first-round pick and something else, maybe a third-round pick, maybe a player. Just depends on the situation, obviously. But If you're a team like the Bills, the Chiefs, the Eagles, it makes sense to go after a guy like Christian McCaffrey. Um, he's a guy who's going to take your offense to the next level the day he walks in the door. He's a game changer. If you're an offense that has players like the Eagles do or the Bills do, you add a guy like this, you become damn near unstoppable. The dude is such a beast. If you add him to a good offense, instantly become a great offense. You add him to a great offense, you become an unstoppable offense. He is the ultimate weapon when you split him out in the slot, use him from the backfield, whatever you got to do, he can do it. He is a great player. I'd hate to see him go, but if the team was willing to accept a trade offer for some draft compensation, it makes sense. So it could be a win-win for both the Panthers and a team who wants to make a deal. So with that being said, I'm going to talk about a couple other guys real quick. Won't spend a ton of time on this because I don't really see anything else happening, but I'll start with DJ Moore. Assuming the Panthers execute their plan the way they want to, they're going to bring in a young offensive coach, an offensive-minded coach, and probably draft a quarterback in the top 5 of next year's draft. You're not going to want to move all of your weapons off the team as soon as you bring that in. You want your quarterback to have a guy to throw to. You want your offensive coach to have a guy he can scheme up. Obviously, we just talked about McCaffrey could be on his way out the door. You want to keep him, but you might have to let him go. If you get a deal, you can't refuse. But you can't get rid of everybody. You just got rid of Robbie Anderson. If you're going to keep one of the 3, just based on rebuilding the team, it makes a lot of sense to keep DJ Moore. If they don't trade McCaffrey, then maybe I could see it. But if I had to bet, I would say DJ Moore is probably the safest out of the group. I don't see them moving off a young star wide receiver that they just re-signed. And like I said, they're looking to bring in a young quarterback. They need a guy he can throw to. Then you got other names that were brought up. Brian Burns. Again, it's possible that the team can move off of him if they get a deal they can't refuse. That it would help them because it would avoid having to re-sign him. He's going to get a big fat contract, so it would save the team some money. But again, it would have to be a deal they can't refuse. At least a first round pick and something else. He did stir up a little commotion earlier this week on social media. He posted like a video of a ram or something. So, I think he was just apparently he posts animal videos all the time or something. Someone said so. I don't know. It could be him just trying to stir stuff up. It could have been an ominous message that he wants to go to the Rams or the Rams are talking to him, or it could be absolutely nothing. So I guess we'll just find out here in the next couple weeks, see if he gets traded. What was the other name? Derek Brown. Yeah, I don't see any way that happens. They're not moving off of him. He's had an outstanding season. And when you're looking to rebuild a team, the interior of the defensive line is a great place to start. So I imagine he'll be fine. Guys, I would personally move probably Dante Jackson. Again, I don't necessarily see that happening, but if I was to put a player on the trade block on the Panthers roster, probably be Dante Jackson. Or CJ Henderson. Either one of those corners, I think, are both movable players. And there are teams like Miami who could use another corner or two. So we'll see what happens. But again, anyway, just a couple thoughts. Thanks for watching. If you're still here, appreciate it. Hit like, hit subscribe. Thanks everybody, and keep pounding.